Hello, welcome to Dungeon Dwellers Podcast. I'm your host, Justin. Today we're reviewing the Danguard Ace movie collection, which came with 3 movies. It's basically compilation movies from an old Super Robot show that aired on TV from 1977 to 1978. Original creators are Leiji, Matsumoto, and Dan Kobayashi. Leiji Matsumoto, you'll know from Captain Harkin, Stars Zingers, and Battleship Yamato. At least I think he worked on Battleship Yamato. And Dan Kobayashi, I think, co-created did.My Guy King, which was one of our first mecha reviews. Chief director was Tomoharu, or was that Haru? One of them. Katsumata, Tomoharu Katsumata. Music by Shinsuke Kikuchi. Character design and animation design, Shingo Araki. And the studio was Toei Animation. The English version, which is what I watched, which I don't think this DVD comes with the original sub. Nope, it does not. I just checked. So the DVD I got was from Shout Factory. I only paid like $12 for this, and I just looked online. I bought this like a few years ago. Watched the first 2 movies, didn't watch the third one till recently. And by recently, I mean I just finished it right now. Yeah, so like, yeah. I don't know how. Well, what else is there to say? Yeah, so like I just looked up how much it goes for on fucking Amazon. Someone's charging $85 for this. It's like $85? Are you joking? I'm not gonna lie, I would not recommend this for $85. But like, let's get on with our review. Oh, by the way, the original show was 56 episodes, and like I would say the compilation movies, they're like 3 compilation movies. I would say each movie is like 5 episodes, pretty much. They even list off which episodes they use in the credits. The voice cast for the English dub, you got Robert Axelrod, Jason Barker Avino, Larry Butler, David Geralt, Dan Glutz, Marieve Harrington, Bradford Hill, Paul Aburl, Kyle Rhea, and Robert Tosegnant, and William Winkler, who also directed and wrote the screenplay for the English dub. So the story for this show, I'm just gonna read it on Wikipedia, which I closed the window because I'm a dumbass. Oh, motherfucker. Come on. Give me a sec, guys. Yeah, the synopsis for the show is Danguard Ace takes place on a future Earth in which natural resources have been depleted. People have begun looking toward other planets to survive. In particular, the new fictional 10th planet, Promethe, which just shows up out of nowhere for some reason in the show. Although people had hoped to peacefully settle there, disaster strikes as the first explorers are destroyed by betrayal, which our main character, when he was a kid, his dad was a famous astronaut who went on the Promethe mission, and for some reason, he blasts the ship in front of him, and then the spaceships disappear. After this event, the invisible named Mr. Doppler, he was a doctor in the show, announces that all attempts to reach Promethe, this is decades later, by the way, like a decade later, to reach Promethe, that all attempts to reach Promethe surrender to his command. Those who do not will be destroyed by his magnificent robot masterpieces. I just added that. using his own resources. Doppler constructs a vast military force greater than that of Earth. He forbids anyone from approaching the planet under the insane belief that only he is entitled to it and his fellow elitists. And he has this, like, if you're wondering, does he do Doppler's forces LARP as World War II German soldiers, German regime? Yes. Even one of the characters call him like Hitler at the end of the movie. At the end of the movie, he's like that crazy madman from Earth's past, Adolf Hitler. It's like, god damn it. Fuck. That's the thing with a lot of these mecha shows. They love the World War II, making their villains basically Nazis. But it's like, Japan, weren't you allied with the Nazis? So, just saying, like, come on. To gain control of Promethe, the government Earth begins just constructing. Wasn't the government? It was Dr. What's his name? I can't remember. Fuck. That's why I wanted. Let's just go on to. I'm just gonna pause for a sec. Yeah, it was Dr. Oedo, who was friends with what's his name? Ichimonji, the astronaut, who is the father of Takuma Ichimonji, who's the main character. He adopts Takuma and constructs like this base called Jazden Base, which is not only a training facility for astronauts to one day go on a space mission to colonize planet Promethe. But it also is a spaceship, and he's constructing a robot called Danguard Ace, right? Which our main character pilots and fights Doppler's forces. They get introduced to before the robot is completed, though. They're getting attacked by Doppler's forces, and they're saved by one of Doppler's Max slaves, which they have Doppler at the beginning use like captured astronauts from the original Promethe mission as slaves. So they have this like mask this metal mask they make their slaves wear, which has like an antenna on the forehead, which receives like signals that brainwashes people. So one of their max slaves steals a spaceship, a fighter ship, and saves our main characters. He turns out to be the father of our main character Takuma, but doesn't want Takuma to know because he feels that it would get in the way of his training. He becomes the second in command of Jazden Base, right? And is like Takuma's space instructor. In the second movie, it's revealed that he's Takuma's father, and then there's like this huge drama of like Takuma's like, why the fuck didn't you tell me you were my dad? Like, do I not mean nothing to you? Am I just a space pilot? It's like, it's one of the worst things about the show is Takuma. Honestly, he's a very whiny character. But yeah, like in the second movie, we get introduced to new villains. The first movie is just Danguard, like Danguard Ace and like Captain Dan and like, you know, our characters find giant robots. The second movie is our characters getting we're introduced to a second pilot for Danguard Ace, which was, what was his name? Hihito. and a new villain, Captain Tony Harkin, which is this German guy, blonde, blue-eyed, like German dude. Yeah, who pilots this black jet squadron, which they don't really fight in the second movie. He's a very cool character. Like, he becomes a good guy at the end of the third movie. But yeah, like the second movie is basically our character, Takuma, having this rivalry with his new co-pilot. And at the end of the movie, they launched for Prometei to chase after Doppler's forces, who I thought in the first movie, right, was already on planet Prometei, and that they were launching attacks from planet Prometei, or at least from space, right? Turns out they were on Earth the entire fucking time. It's like, what the fuck? You guys look like you were in space. Okay, whatever. Yeah, so there's this cool arc in the show where they're launching to space, but like Captain Dan gets injured, and then like the whole secret is revealed. Which the reason why they didn't another reason why they didn't want to reveal Captain Dan's like true identity is because one, people on Earth think he's a traitor and he sabotaged the planet Prometei mission. What really happened was Doppler used like mind control rays to force them to shoot the ship in front of him, right? Which afterward Doppler captured everybody, and that's why the original Prometei crew were went missing, right? So the third movie is basically our Takuma and Hihito are getting along. They're in space. They're on their way to planet Prometei. There's some hiccups along the way. There's like, I forgot to mention, there's these like comedy relief characters, like the little girl character, I forget her name, who's like the sister of Bunta being the engineer guy who gave Takuma a hard time in the first movie, which he deserved it. There's like this episode where, like, she's bored, she's hanging out with the monkey Taro, right? And she's bored, she's sad that they're not gonna go back to Earth, right? The robot character named Tamagar makes a kite and convinces her to go outside and like fly the kite, right? Outside being on top of the ship out in space. What ends up happening is Tamagar, the retarded robot, let goes of the kite and goes after it, gets lost in space. Our characters have to go find him. In the meantime, one of the female characters, who's like a communications officer, always a communications officer with our female characters in these old mecha shows. I don't have a problem with that. I know some people do. But yeah, she gets lost in space, gets captured by the enemy. She fucking tells them the secret to Jazdem's like infinite energy source, because the bad guy's ship is like shittier and like has to run on super uranium, right? Yeah, so like once they figured that out, why wasn't there like, because like how they're able to collect their infinite energy is they're collecting like pulsar rays from space, from an antenna on top of like the bridge of the Jazdem ship. So like they could have fucking crippled the Jazdem base if they destroyed the antenna. Of course they would have been able to fix it eventually, but there was no like episode, or maybe in the show there were, but there was no arc in the movie where they destroyed the destroyed the antenna, which I thought would have been like an arc. Maybe there was in the show. I don't know. Yeah, but like what ends up happening is there's like a giant a planetoid that's like releasing hypnotic rays at both the enemy and Jasmine base ship, where they're imagining that the other crew members are monsters, and you have like in both ships, like all the members of the crews are shooting at each other. Which obviously, you know, it's a 70s sci-fi show, so it's like they have laser guns and like colorful costumes. How they fix this is they gas everybody and bring everybody onto the bridge, because the bridge has like heavy lead walls which protects from the radiation outside, but the rest of the ship doesn't, I guess. I don't know. What ends up happening is the two ships come together, make a truce to fight the planetoid, which turns out to be a living thing, and you have this huge epic battle where Captain Harkin, who's supposed to be a space jet pilot, hates giant robots, thinks giant robots are dumb toys, gets in the giant robot, which Doppler makes their own version of the Danguard Ace called Gigantor, which is like this gold robot. Does pretty much everything that Danguard Ace does, but after the battle, it gets destroyed and they don't make a new one, which I thought was dumb. But because of that battle, Harkin starts to realize how evil Doppler is, and you know, starts to question everything. Eventually, he decides to go to Doppler. Hey, let's just fucking share planet problem with it, right? Gets shot by Doppler. Survives because of a laser. He had a laser-proof vest, which is a fucking thing. Even though he just looked like he's wearing his normal uniform. Whatever. What ends up happening is like Doppler sends out the final robot, which is just this big ass ship with a fucking super uranium nuke at the tip. Sends them on sends the rest of Harkin's Black Jet Squadron on a suicide mission, riding this giant robot with a nuke for its head, to destroy Jasmine base and Danguard Ace. Harkin survives, gets on a ship, able to save Danguard Ace, but his friends on the nuke robot ship gets blown the fuck out. They go to the ship to make Doppler surrender, because he's out of robots, and his crew just magically disappears. You don't ever see them again. And what ends up happening is the ship just explodes, and that's the end of the show. Our characters reach planet Promete, and they have like inner monologue of what their hopes and wishes. So that was the end of. I don't know. The final finale for the third movie I thought was pretty fucking terrible. If you could tell by my synopsis at the end, it just sounded yeah, it was just terrible. So I'm just going to go to the pros and cons. Pros: good mecha design. I would say the mecha design were pretty good throughout the show. Danguard Ace, you know, I liked how Danguard Ace, like compared to other super robot shows, he's not very flashy looking. He has this like classic design. It looks very cool. And, you know, he has some cool weapons too. I really like the what was it called? The double shaft, which is like this double bladed weapon. It reminds me of Tekka Man. If you ever, there was like this 90s movie version of Tekka Man, but like they changed the name to something else. It reminded me a lot of that robot. I forget what it's called though, but because they changed the name. I don't remember. I think it started with a D. I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, you had like I don't know, cool, funny characters. You know, Captain Dan. I don't know. I really like Captain Dan's character. I thought it was pretty cool, and like Captain Dan, his English voice actor sounds just like Jesse Ventura. So I'm like, so I'm just like watching the show. He's like, when is he gonna tell us about 9/11 was an inside job? It's like, what was it? What was the shit he would say? It was like, it was a controlled demolition. No, fuck. It was a controlled demolition. Like you tried bombs or no, not you tried. I forget. Whatever. Check out Jesse Ventura's stuff. It's pretty cool. Though I kind of hate him because he sued Chris Kyle's family, even though because Chris Kyle somewhat mentioned him in a book, but like he never name dropped him. So like people didn't know it was him until like after he sued the family, and it's like fucking assholes. And like people like take Jesse Ventura's side because you know Chris Kyle's apparently lied about a bunch of shit. Like Chris Kyle's more of a fucking American hero than fucking Jesse Ventura, who was like what, a governor, and probably a shitty governor. And like he was in like shitty movies like that fucking what was it called? Abraxas movie? That was fucking terrible. And he was barely in Running Man. Like the entire movie you're waiting for Jesse Ventura to fight Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it never fucking happens. You get like a fake fight. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck Jesse Ventura. Captain Harkon I thought was cool, and you got some cool space battles. Because the third movie is entirely takes place in space, by the way. Cons: bad dialogue, very bad dialogue. Oh, like there's this one point where Captain Dan's like, "Oh, it's lit up like the 4th of July." It's like shit like that. Terrible voice acting, like I mentioned. You got dust on frames and shit. Whiny main character for the first 2 movies. Child Takuma looked like a midget whenever you saw the flashbacks, but that could just be, I don't know, that could just be me, but I don't know. The show gets repetitive at times. Sometimes it gets boring, and there's some terrible Transformers references in the second movie because they fight they fight this transforming robot, which you know there were other ones you know after that, but they didn't make Transformers references. But like yeah, there's like shitty Transformers references in the second movie, where like the one of the scientists is showing off the new robot to Doppler, and he's like, this robot transforms. It's a robot in disguise, even though he shows it like first in its like vehicle mode, then in its like robot mode. So it's like it was already a robot. Like wouldn't it have made sense if you said that when it was in its vehicle form, not when he already saw it transform into a robot? And then like you know when Danguard Ace pilots fight it, you know like Hideo says like, oh, it transformed. It's more than meets the eye. It's just like, god damn it. I don't know. I hate the Transformer references. So I was gonna give this a 5.5 out of 10, but knowing now that it's like super expensive apparently, I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. I wouldn't, unless you get this really cheap and you're a fan of Leiji Matsumoto, I wouldn't recommend this, but yeah, I don't know. I thought, you know, if you can get it for cheap, and you're a fan of super robot shows, then check it out. But if you're not, yeah, don't get it. So our next mecha anime movie reviews are going to be the Zeta Gundam collection. So look out for that. Or maybe I should review Gundam Double 80 War in the Pocket first. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Then we'll review that, the new translation or whatever the fuck the fucking Zeta movies are called. All right, later, peace.